Veterans, military, LOs, real estate agents, this is for you. And this is extremely important, so pay attention. There is a vast difference between what the VA requires and what your state that you live in may require. This has been a widely and both passionately debated topic. Most recently, a lot on social media and some posts that I've seen, some private Facebook groups. And this is where it gets weird. And it gets honestly hard, especially for LOs who have been told that the VA requires things that only the state requires, okay? So there's this VA versus the state conflict that we're in. And this is what I want you to understand. The VA requires things that the VA requires. I know that sounds crazy, but if you look through the 26-7, if you look through the circulars, that's what the VA requires. If you do not find it in there, but yet a state has, and I'm going to use this example because this is the most recent that I've seen, is the CO 100 in the state of South Carolina, which is the moisture report. Okay, Virginia requires a moisture report too. That is not required by the VA. The only time you'll see moisture mentioned at the VA level is in the appraisal. If the appraiser goes through the crawl space, observes the home, and sees there might be some moisture issues, they can put it on the appraisal. It then becomes a MPR. It is probably going to have to be dealt with. But if you have a WDI and a CL 100, appraiser doesn't note anything, it's not required by the VA. So I know a lot of VA SARs that won't even look at the CL 100 if the appraiser doesn't note it. It's like providing a home inspection. You do not provide home inspections to underwriters because they cannot unsee what they've seen. Now, there is the thought that, well, what if it comes back? Are you not doing what's in the best interest of the buyer? That is not for me as a loan officer to decide. That is a conversation between the agent and the veteran, military member, or that family to make sure that they're protecting their asset. I handle the money. Look, we do business in 21 states, a lot, all over the country. There are a lot of local requirements in there. And yes, sometimes it's a little hard to keep up with it, but we do. But as a loan officer, as a real estate agent, this is very simple. There's VA versus the state. Now, I know loan officers will tell you that, well, my underwriter will require it. Well, you know what? They can. They are free to do whatever they would like. But if you tell people that's the VA that requires it, you are in fact lying to them. It's really that simple. So the words that you use are paramount. You have to understand the guidelines. A lot of loan officers get brainwashed at these certain companies, or their egos are so big, they don't want to be wrong. There's a lot of that out there. The good ones admit when they're wrong. The good ones will admit that they don't know, but they'll go find the answer with a trusted source. Even sometimes that trusted source is wrong. But the words that we use, and this is what irritates me, is we use the words the VA requires because we don't want to take a blow to our own ego. And we get over bloated and we get passionate, overly passionate, and just tell people they're flat out wrong. That is not the way this works. That is a shot at the people who earn this benefit. So you're putting your own ego before the requirements. My coach to you is this. If you are someone who is eligible for the VA home loan benefit, make sure that you do your own research. There are lots of data, lots of things out there that you can go find. I have a VA's field manual handbook that I created that I give to buyers, both physical and digital. I'll happily give you one because it's consumer palatable. It's not the VA guidelines because they're a little bit vague. My point is that there are a lot of loan officers out there who will literally die on the hill, mostly due to their own ego. They're not willing to learn. Education is what makes us all better, but you have to put your ego aside to be willing to learn.